And then gently open your eyes. All right. Another thing that was happening before class started was Kathy was actually doing her home practice. She was doing something that she thought she wanted to do or needed to do before class, which was have a chair right at the top of her thighs and fold forward. So instead, I want you to take a strap and make a large loop. And once you've made the loop, you'll place it underneath your ankles and right at the top of your thighs. Hopefully you can see that. And then tighten it up. Have your knees shoulder width apart or maybe a little wider. And then you tighten it up until you're glued down. Now walk your hands forward. So you may need more height under your head in this one if you want to rest your head, because it's not letting you lift your hips. Now walk your hands over to the right. Try to walk your left arm further and further forward. Come back to the center. Extend forward. Then walk your hands over to the left and move your right arm further and further forward. Come back to the center. Extend as far forward as you can. And then bring your hands to your knees and lift yourself up. Remove the strap. Do not be surprised if you have little hickey marks on your legs later on. Place your hands for downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips high. Stretch the backs of your legs. Imagine you had a yoga butler using the strap around your upper thighs again, and they were pulling you back. Bend your knees and come down. All right. So we'll do, I'll do something similar to what Kathy was doing before class, and some of you were doing before class, because I think all of you have a chair. A folding chair in particular. And you want to place the folding chair with the bottom of the seat up, like this, and put it against a wall. Like this. All right. Then you'll place the tops of your thighs on the chair. And you have to duck in to lean forward, but then you walk back to downward facing dog. Except, you know, you don't have any weight on your hands, but your legs should feel like downward facing dog. Try to walk your feet back a little more if you can. Yeah. If this is too much pressure on your thighs, you can put a blanket over the back of the chair. So hopefully this feels a little bit like that strap we use sometimes to help people do downward facing dog. Then to come out, hold on to the chair, walk your feet forward, keep your head down, spin to the side, and lift yourself back up. Okay. Stand up. Place a block between your feet. And have another block between your hands. So here, the block between the feet is actually very much like a mirror, because you can tell what foot does what with a block between your feet. Like I can feel my left ankle pushes into the block a lot more than my right. And if I lift my toes, that goes away. So my left arch is a little collapsed. Not bad, but a little. So I have to keep that lift and release my toes down. So whatever, you know, you might lean, you might drop the right foot down more, so figure that out. And then place a block between your hands. Press your palms into the block. I hate not being able to see my head. It's weird. There we go. All right. And then slowly lift the block up. And this way, the block is like a teacher for your shoulders. One shoulder will find this a lot harder to do than the other, and will kind of lag behind. Then slowly lower your arms down. Notice if your feet have gone back to their original ways. And why not take the block behind? Roll your shoulders back, press into the block. Now if you can straighten your arms, straighten your arms. I can't straighten my arms. Then release the block. Put the blocks to the side. Stand Tadasana, get ready for some warrior poses. Sometimes I ask Charlie what I should teach. And the first thing he said was arm balances. I was like, nah, I think 3 classes of arm balances might be too much. But the second thing he said was warrior poses because it's cold outside. Bring hands in front of your chest. Take your arms and legs wide. Lift your inner thighs up. Release your shoulders. Turn your right leg out. Bend your right leg. Virabhadrasana 2. Descend your right hip. Press your left thigh back. Relax your shoulders. Extend through your fingertips. Notice the weight on both your feet. Where the weight is on the right foot, where the weight is on the left foot. If your arms start to feel heavy, try this. Lift them up slightly. And they'll feel lighter. All right? That's because your shoulders have moved down. And then keep that pressure of your shoulders down and imagine you're pushing down on something to bring your arms down. Then straighten your right leg, turn your toes in, turn your left leg out. Bend your left leg. Descend your left hip, press back with your right thigh. Yeah, and then you can do it again. You can lift your arms up because if you've kept them up, they're gonna feel, we'll say warm. And then press them down like, my teacher always says like you're going through water, or then she's like, well, water's too easy. So I think she came up with like banana pudding. Our class, the class I take with her is right around dinner time. And so imagine you're pressing down through banana pudding, or whatever it is. Greek yogurt. It's also a way to get you to stay in this pose longer. Because if you start thinking about your legs, which now that I've said that, you'll start thinking about them, they get tired. But if you're thinking about your arms, because your arms are tired, your legs are okay. Straighten with your left leg and release your arms down. Step your feet back together, come back to Tadasana. Notice the feeling in your legs, in your shoulders. We'll call it the afterglow of Virabhadrasana 2. Take your arms out to the sides, turn your palms up, lift your arms all the way up. Take your arms and legs, or take your legs wide. Virabhadrasana 1. Turn your right leg all the way out. Turn your left leg in deeply. Notice the weight on your feet here. Keep your left leg straight as you bend your right leg. Extend through your fingertips. Descend your right hip. Ascend your left leg. If you want to do the full pose, you bring your hands together and look up at your hands. And then look forward. Straighten your right leg. Turn your feet to the front. Take a breath. Turn to the left. Turn your left leg all the way out. Turn your right leg in. Press down strongly with your left foot as you bend, your right foot as you bend your left leg. Descend your left hip as you ascend your right leg. Lift through your fingers to get length in the sides of your torso. And then if you wish, you can look up and join your hands. Straighten your front foot, look forward, straighten your front leg. Turn your feet to the front. Take your feet together. And then take your arms down. All right, so take a moment in Tadasana to notice the afterglow. I think I'm gonna start calling it that. The afterglow of your Virabhadrasana 1. All right, Virabhadrasana 3. Now I want you to try to do this without anything. Well, your brain and everything, but no props. You can try even doing it without a mat, although the mat doesn't really help you that much here. So we'll do it the traditional way first, and then we'll try some other ways. Take your arms up. And actually, if it was traditional way, the hands would already be together. All right. Take your feet apart. Turn to your right. Come to Virabhadrasana 1. Lean your torso over your right leg, look forward. Come onto your back toes. You can step in slightly. Press down strongly with the big toe of your right foot. Lift off your left leg. And try to balance on one leg without using a wall, without using a prop. And if you fall, if you fall, you're not gonna probably hurt yourself. You're just gonna lower your leg. All right. Then reach back strongly with your left leg. So you're back into this lunge, leaning over the lunge. Lift back up into Virabhadrasana 1. Straighten your right leg. Turn your feet to the front. That's a special move that I've pretty much invented the shift from side to side. Very, very silly today. All right, turn to the left. Bend your left leg. Virabhadrasana 1. Lean over your left leg. Come onto your right toes. Then press down strongly with the big toe of your left leg or left foot. And come into Virabhadrasana 1. Any amount. You don't have to go all the way parallel to the floor. So if you're not parallel to the floor, it's a little easier. Now bend your left leg strongly. Reach back with your right leg. You're back into that lunge. Lift up, back into Virabhadrasana 1. Straighten your left leg. Turn your feet to the front. Step your feet together. And then lower your arms. Arm prob's nice. Take your feet wider than hip width. Hold the opposite elbow and pull forward. If this is hard on your back, place your hands on your shins. Otherwise, it's helpful to get more stretch in your hamstrings. Place your hands on your hips. Inhale, come all the way up. All right, so this will take a little measuring. I'm going to get rid of the mat because it's a little easier. Luckily, I'm on tile, so there's some slide. So you'll have your chair, and then you'll have one leg at the wall and your hands on your chair. Like this. So to find that measurement. You might even have to move some artwork. Yes. And then, so start with both feet on the floor. Once you get your measurement, start with both feet on the floor and both hands on the chair, so we can all kind of, Kathy, turn your chair around. Put your palms on the chair seat, because we are going to do that, but first we're going to start here. All right. Now, lift your left leg up. I guess I'll do my opposite left. Oops. I moved forward. Well, one of my legs shrank. All right, press your heel, your left heel into the wall. Level your hips. So the tendency is for the lifted leg hip to move up. Although that's not true for everyone, although I can't, it's not like class, I can't walk around. All right, and then notice where the weight is on your bottom leg. You want the weight in your heel. If it's in your toes, your foot is too far back. Keep pressing with your left heel and take your forearms to the chair back. Oh, take one forearm to the chair back. Okay, there we go. And then bring your hands back to the chair seat and lower that foot down. Anyone else get a cramp in their down leg hip? Yeah. All right. So we're going to do the other side. So lift your right leg up. And with both hands on the chair seat, you're able to push into the wall, get it high, rather than when you take your arms forward on the chair back, your leg wants to sink. So take your left hip back, right hip up. Don't let it sink down to the floor. And then when you're ready, take your forearms to the chair back. Keep pressing your heel into the wall to keep your legs straight. Then bring your hands back to the chair, and your foot back to the floor. Okay, so that made it somewhat easier, right? Yeah, you didn't have to worry about balance. But if you really wanted to feel what you have to do for, what your legs have to do for Virabhadrasana 3, this is how you approach it. So rather than the chair, you use something lower. And then you have to figure out what muscles you use to lift your arms up. All right? So we won't do this for very long. So I don't expect you to be in this pose very long. So lift your left leg up and first do the measurement, and then we'll all do it together. It should be pretty much the same measurement you had before. All right. So lift your right leg up, press it into the wall. Take your left hip back and your right hip up. Except, Karen, I think yours is up high enough. All right. Now first, you're gonna lift your left arm. And then you're gonna put your left arm on the floor, or on the block, and then you lift your right arm. All right. Keep pressing your back foot into the wall. Marcia, your top leg, there you go. Now, figure out what you have to do in your body to lift your arms up. And bring that leg down. Bring the arms down, bring the leg down. So did that feel more difficult than the one we did freestanding? Yes, it is. All right, switch side. So lift your left leg up. Press your left heel into the wall. Suck your outer right hip in. And notice if you're sinking in your left hip. There. So the first stage is opposite arm and leg. So lift your right arm. Then lower your right arm. Lift your left arm. Lower your left arm. Keep pressing your heel into the wall. Don't bend the back leg. And it's easier to take the hands behind you than forward. So you can try that with both arms. And then forward. And then back to the blocks. All right. Come down. So that was fun. Hopefully that warmed you up a bit. And you know, Virabhadrasana 3. Someone have a question? I heard someone's microphone go.
It was me, Mary. There's another much neglected pose on my part.
Yeah, I hardly ever practice Virabhadrasana 3. I used to practice it all the time. I used to have this practice almost once a week where I do all the standing pose for a minute. I don't know how often I would stay a minute in that pose, but I do, you know, I would try to do a minute. And that just disappeared.
Mary, I have a question.
Sure.
How come on Virabhadrasana 2, you didn't tell us to turn our back foot in?
It wasn't that I forgot.
I figured.
Well, I mean, it could be.
I didn't think so.
I think I can't remember when it was, but Abhijata was teaching without turning the back foot. And I kind of liked it. So turning the back foot in brings this hip around more. So it's harder to have the torso. Now the abdomen can face that way, but the torso should face forward.
Right.
So if you turn the back foot in, that's harder.
I see.
So if you don't turn the back foot in, this is easier.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Sure. All right. So we're doing abs because we need to do them, and it might be a neglected pose if we're not in class. All right. So either we've been doing this a lot, so you should know either blankets or no blankets. Or Sarvasana. You can have your arms up, you can have your arms down. So we'll do one leg at a time to begin with, and then we'll go on with both legs. So for the first one, I want you to lower your left leg so it's just floating over the floor, and extend your arms. And you'll notice that this looks very much like Virabhadrasana 3. It's much easier to balance. But because you're in a different position from the pull of gravity, it's the opposite muscles working. So when you're doing Virabhadrasana 3, it's the back of the thighs working, the latissimus, the lats and the muscles of the lower back working, the buttocks. Here, it's the quadriceps, the abs. All right, switch legs. I wanted to keep you there long enough so that you could feel those muscles work. Like if you're there just for a second, you still get some of the benefit, but the longer you stay, the more obvious which muscles you need to work are there. And that's part of the reason I did the poses for a minute. It's also when you go up for assessment, you're expected to do the poses for a minute, most of them. So it was just easier to practice all of them for a minute. All right, lift the right leg back up. Take a breath. Oh. Now lower your legs halfway to the floor. Pull your abdomen in. Lower your back closer and closer to the floor. Lift your legs back up. All right. Exhale, lower your legs halfway to the floor. Squeeze your legs together, spread your toes. Lower your legs halfway again. Squeeze your legs together, spread your toes. Lift your legs back up. Take a breath. You may notice that you're feeling some strain in the area where we had the chair earlier, right at the tops of the butt. Exhale, lower your legs halfway to the floor. That's because that muscle is working rather than receding. It tends to push up, and that's why that chair step feels good, is it kind of puts it back in its place. Lower your legs halfway. Just hovering off the floor. A little bit up. A little bit higher up. A little bit higher up. And all the way back up to 90. Hug your knees in. is also why when you hug your knees in, you're kind of in that child's pose again, and you feel that muscle receding. It usually feels pretty good in your back. All right, roll to your side. And come up. Karen, I think the microphone's still on. All right. Oh, or Kathy's, one of you. Yeah. Yep. There we go. Okay, Jatara Parvattanasana. Oh, let's do the fun version. All right. Take a blanket, fold it lengthwise. You can also use a bolster. And then get your strap. And then you can watch once you get all that ready. I'm going to lower this down a little bit. So Arun likes this one. You put your hips on the bolster or blanket or two. Place the strap around your feet. And then the strap, I think I shouldn't mirror when I'm facing the other way. So the strap, this is my right hand. It'll go underneath my the right side of my neck, and I'll hold it in my left hand. So when I bring my legs over, I have something to hold. And so we'll go to the right a few times, and then we'll switch the strap. All right? So sit on a blanket or two, a bolster, put the strap around your feet, and then bring it under your neck and hold it in your left hand. Take your right hand out to the side. Your right hand is the target for your feet, although they don't actually touch the hand. Then with your next exhalation, start to take your legs over to the right. If this feels weird on your neck, you can always hold it with your right hand as well. Take some of the pressure off the neck, or you can bend your knees. Although the strap doesn't do you any good if you bend your knees. Bring your legs back up to the center. With your next exhalation, take them over to the right. Keep your quadriceps lifted. Pull with your left hand. Bring your legs back up to the center. One more. Take your legs over to the right. Squeeze your legs together. Extend through your toes. And back to the center. All right, take the strap on the other side. So you have to loop it under the left side and hold it in your right hand. Remember, you can always hold the strap with your left hand if this feels like claustrophobic or just crazy having a strap around your neck, or you just need extra support for your legs. All right, now with your next exhalation, move your legs over towards your left hand. Keep your legs straight. Move your abdomen to the right. I didn't say that on the first side, and I should have. Come back to the center. Take a breath. Next exhalation, bring your legs over to the left. Turn your abdomen to the right. Squeeze your legs together. Extend your knees. Come back to the center. Last one, take your legs over to the left. Pull on the strap to the right. It helps you lift your legs up, and it takes some of the weight off your legs, but not a whole lot. And bring your legs back to the center. Take the strap off. Roll to your side. Downward dog palate cleanser. Downward dog works like Tadasana in the sense that you're so used to this pose, you can feel the afterglow of the other poses. So, you know, I would guess, unless you do a lot of vinyasa, you know, Virabhadrasana 1 doesn't feel like a pose where you could feel afterglow or after effects. But downward dog and Tadasana, you definitely feel the effects of the pose you were just in. Walk your hands back towards your feet, fold forward. Place your hands on your hips, come all the way back up. All right, time to get upside down. So, today your choices are, I'm going to start with headstand or headless headstand today. We haven't used a lot of arm strength today, we need some arm strength. So this one. All right, Shirshasana. And I hope for myself that all this ab work will help me come into Shirshasana with 2 straight legs. Although that has as much to do with ab work as flexibility. Nope, not today. Let's see, do we have, okay, there's, we got, especially if you're using the headstander or whatever it's called, the headless headstand thing. Really try to work your way into coming up and that with 2 straight legs. I know Karen does it that way, but and if you can't get up with 2 straight legs, try going down with 2 straight legs. Okay, so I have to say that this is a record to have 3 people with a headstander. And Chaya, you'll have to get one. You know, and Kathy, you guys will have to get one. All right. Kathy, that looks pretty good. I can't see you super well. So if you really want some feedback, next time turn your camera, don't worry about it today, but turn your camera a little bit away from the television towards that wall. Chaya, did you change the interlock of your fingers? All right, those using the headstander, lower your legs down. See if you can do it with 2 legs at the same time. Ah, that's good, Kathy. There you go. I think if you had a little more flexibility, that would have landed a little softer. Yeah, and everyone can rest with their head down. All right. I almost wish that there was another inversion to do, you know, like it wasn't just handstand all the time and Shirshasana all the time and shoulder stand all the time. Have to come up with another one. We haven't really been working on stuff for Pinchamayurasana, so if Pinchamayurasana comes naturally to you, go ahead and practice do Pinchamayurasana next. If you're tightener in the shoulders, maybe handstand or elbow pose. We've done a lot of Virabhadrasana 3, so I think as the option for those that don't want to go upside down for whatever reason, try this. Walk in and see, actually the blocks make it too easy. See how much weight you can get on your hands. So even though I was never a ballet dancer, I get on my toes. This is just 2 big toes and my hands. All right? Everyone can try that? Yeah? You can try it with or without blocks. See how much weight you can get on your hands and how little weight you can get on your toes. So walk in a little bit more, Chaya. You're more flexible than that. Yeah. Yeah. And try not to lean too far forward. Yeah. And you will feel your lower abs engage. And that is what you need to come up with straight legs. Okay. So now do a handstand or take a break and repeat that again, or do a Pinchamayurasana. I'm gonna do a Pinchamayurasana today. I feel like we've done a lot of wrist stuff lately. So we'll figure out what to do. Yeah. All right. Trying to figure out how to come up with 2 legs again slowly. Oh yeah, yeah. Come on your toes, 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 toes. Your right elbow is bending a little bit, I think, Karen. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's your right? That's the one that one's straight, the other one's bent. Yeah. Or it looks bent. Maybe it's not, maybe it's your shirt.
To get up like that, there's a lot of strength involved.
Oh, totally, yeah. So you have to
Figure out where to get it.
yeah, like, you know, maybe there's a special clinic.
You think at Amazon?
Yeah,
But
Amazon. They,
that feels good, doesn't it, against the wall?
yeah, I wish my wall was level. You could lift one leg up.
Yeah, I was thinking of trying that.
Changing my voice, right?
Yeah.
Lift the leg up.
Yeah.
All right, that's a lot of the wrist. Okay, we're going straight towards shoulder stand. It's time. So first, Chaturpadasana. Yeah.
Needs to be worked on.
Needs to be worked on.
Good, Shadoosh.
Chatush.
Okay.
And then, yeah, we're up here. So luckily, this is not on the wrist. This is not an arm string, but you still have to press your upper arms down, lift your hips, and roll your shoulders under. Press your heels down to lift your hips. Soften your neck and throat. This is an excellent pose to time if you're into timings of your poses. So there's different ways you can time your poses. I actually learned this from Devin. I always just set a timer to go off every minute, and I would just try to change poses every minute, and I still do that a lot. Or I'll be in, I'll see how long I can stay in headstand or shoulder stand, or so I'll just like count the ticks. It goes off every minute, so it'd be like tick, okay, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. But the other way, and this way is a lot harder mentally, is to set a stopwatch and see how long you're there. Because there's something about counting off the time that helps me stay longer. Whereas the stopwatch, I'm just like, okay, it feels like 6 minutes, and I come down and it's been 2. I guess it wasn't as long as I thought. All right, lower your hips down. Okay, so you're going to do some sort of shoulder stand. So all of you have chairs. There's always a chair shoulder stand. You could put the chair against the wall and lift your hips. Taya, you know this one. I'm going to pretend that there's a chair here where you lift your hips like this. So you're getting closer to shoulder stand without, actually getting into it. So I guess I have to show that one. Just in case there's more people other than Taya that don't want to, Taya may go into shoulder stand today, I don't know. But I know for practice, so you come in close to the chair. Place your feet on the edge, come up, roll your shoulders under like this. So this is a lot closer to shoulder stand. It's actually very close to chair shoulder stand, where your hips are on the edge of the chair. So find something like that to do. Oh yeah, chair shoulder stand, good job. Yeah. So chair shoulder stand is very popular in Mary's Friday class. Yeah. Yes. So if you were to do, it occurs to me that I don't think I've shown chair shoulder stand on video. I just said that you can do chair shoulder stand, and Suzette reminds me that not everyone can do the videos in real time for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter what the reason is. You eat breakfast. So I'm going to show with the book folded blankets. Well, they can be done book fold. I also like some kind of blanket under my head, so it's not on the sticky mat. Just because I feel like it gets my hair that way. So since I have 4 blankets, I put 2 blankets down for my shoulders. I put another blanket back here on the chair, especially when it's cold. And then I place my knees over the back of the chair. Hold on tight with my knees. Lower my hands down. And then when I get to the point where I have to let go of my knees, or I'm not going to go down anymore, I let go of my knees. And then my shoulders are resting pleasantly on the blanket pile. My head is on the floor. So this would be stage 1. The backs of my calves, this is what the blanket is for on the chair back. The backs of my calves are resting on the chair seat, and I'm holding the chair legs. The next stage would be to have my legs straight up in the air, or reaching the back legs of the chair. Now I have short arms, I can't usually reach the back legs of the chair unless I'm in really close. So I stick with the front legs. Press my upper arms down and open up my chest. Then when I get tired of having my legs swinging in the air, I bring them into Baddha Konasana. And then they can either rest on that blanket on the back of the chair, or if you're more flexible, they can rest on the chair seat. At this point, I'm usually doing kind of a lazy yoga, and I rest my arms in goalpost. So there's all those variations for chair yoga, or chair shoulder stand. Then to come out, I place my feet on the chair seat, and you guys don't need to come out yet. I'm just demonstrating how to do a chair shoulder stand. I place my feet on the chair seat, and I tuck my chin and slide down. Then I get this lovely, relaxed calves on the chair seat, buttock supported on the chair, the blanket pile, and it's lovely for the lower back and resting. All right. Okay, so Kathy, your top leg is perfectly straight. Oh, and the bottom leg could have been a little straighter, but now it's getting straighter. So next time, Karen, try to keep your head down when you roll out. All right, I'll watch. Oh, Kathy's doing the second leg. Yeah. Better? Mm-hmm. That's a good option, Marcia. All right, Kathy, so now I'm gonna watch you roll out. Let's see if we can keep the head down. So look towards the bolster, and that will help you keep your head down. There we go. Oh, little pop at the end. If you had a block under your hips, that pop wouldn't have happened. Yeah. All right, start to come out. And sit in Upavishta Konasana. It's a test. Okay. So either everyone knows the pose or you're looking at the gallery view. Press your thighs down, spread your toes. Lift your arms up. So if you get a cramp at the top of your thigh when you lift your arms up, you should probably be sitting on something, or you have some psoas dysfunction. You could also have a big case. All right, turn to your right. Take your hands down either side of your right leg. Inhale, lift your chest, and then scrape your left hand along the floor to turn the left side of your body to the right. And then push with your right hand behind to turn even more. At the same time, press your left thigh down so the left thigh doesn't fall asleep just because you're turning to the right. Then, walk your hands forward. At some point, your opposite thigh, your left thigh, is going to get light. So you have to remind yourself to press it down. So this is Parshva Upavista Konasana. Parsh is usually used for like a half a twist. It's not a full twist. There's Parivrita Upavista Konasana where your chest is facing the other way. Come back up. Back to center. Press your thighs down. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, turn to your left. Bring your hands down either side of your leg or your torso. And then scrape your right hand backwards. Push your left hand forwards to turn more and more. Then walk your hands forward. Remind yourself about your right leg as you come over your left leg. Walk your hands back in. Return to the center, lift up. Okay. And then come to Dandasana. Press both thighs down. All right. So both Karen and I have some trouble with our psoas, and I think mine's just weak. But one of the things that really demonstrates how much you have to work at is to lift your arms up in Dandasana. And you may not feel it at first. Now, we worked a lot on this muscle today. We did Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, and we did somewhat Virabhadrasana 3. So the longer you stay here, for me, I can feel it right away, especially my left leg. But if you stay here long enough, and if your arms get tired first, then good job. Then you can work your arms more. But for me, my arms don't get tired very easily, but boy, that muscle gets tired. All right. Exhaling forward, reach, reach, reach. Grab your feet. And now that muscle finally gets to relax. Soften. Inhale, come back up. And if you want, just a little more release in that top of the thigh. Grind. Now you don't have to take a sticky mat or blanket, but this is the same thing. You push down, just like we did at the beginning of class. And you come forward. A little harder at the end of class, because it does push into your bladder a little bit. Hold up as everyone can reach the top, the feet of the chair. So go ahead and reach the feet of the chair up here, and then don't let go of them. Mostly you're pushing into your thighs and getting a stretch of your lower back. If your chair comes open, turn the chair up the other way around. Oh, I think you have it right. I don't know why it came open. and come back up. All right, it's time for Shavasana. So set up your Shavasana. You might want to put your socks on. Whoops. Okay, so we started a little bit late. I'm gonna go just a few minutes over. If you need to go, I totally understand. It'll just be another 2 minutes. My normal 2-minute Shavasana. So roll your shoulders under. Broad across your collarbones. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. And use the next few moments to focus on your breath. Deepen your breath. Bend your knees. Roll to your side. Lift yourself up. Take your arms wide, lift your chest. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Think of something you're grateful for. Namaste.